Jason Bermas on today's News Talk, TNT.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Dark Cartoon in a post-truth world. So yesterday, while I was kind of scrolling, probably like late last night, trying to see what news stories I had missed over the weekend, etc., I was in the trending topics on X, and I saw Doritos. Now, as a good American that had his fair share of Doritos growing up, especially in that high school to college era, you know, nothing like a Cool Ranch, friends. I'm like, why are Doritos trending? It wasn't sponsored. It wasn't an ad. And sure enough, we get into the political arena, and really how much disdain minions and puppets of the predator class that have basically gotten into this Hollywood-esque political arena for power. Why do I say Hollywood-esque? Because it is acting, it is a show on every single level. Like everyone. These people are totally and completely vapid and lost, and because they've achieved this pinnacle, this height, if you will, of power within the system, they have no attachment to reality whatsoever. Long rant to bring you to this point. What did I see when I saw this video that was involved with Doritos? Well, first, I just watched the end product, which the end product of this production, and we'll get to it in a moment, was a 10-second tweet from Tim Walz, who is the presumptive vice presidential nominee. And by presumptive, I mean we're at the DNC. We're going to get into that later. It's on like Donkey Kong, especially when you see this, of him in a convenience store handing a bag of snacks to Kamala Harris, who's next to her husband. All of them, they seem extremely incompetent, just like always. She's got a smile and a giggle and making no sense whatsoever. We're going to get into that in a moment. This is how detached from reality that they are. That these people, even with the help of aides and a camera crew, can't navigate reality at all. Not even a little bit. Okay? So like I said, I saw that 10-second clip and I'm like, yeah, this is stupid, but why is it trending? Oh, they filmed it a couple times. So they have two takes that are completely different. By the way, the take that they didn't use, I guess it didn't involve Walz, so that's why they didn't use it. Or at least Walz was kind of like on the peripheral. It was more with Kamala and her husband. But it would have made more sense at least, because she wasn't, I don't think she was asking for corn nuts. So that's where it gets ridiculous. They're separated by a little aisle thing that you got to hand over the top, right? First of all, who does that? Like nobody. Like, hey, walk it over, friend. But hey, this is a PR thing. When you see the wife, everybody, security full on. There's no interaction with the commoners. They don't even show you these people talking to anybody or checking out. Again, I got your back. I'm going to give you some chips. So here's where it gets really funny. Kamala Harris asks for corn nuts. Not like once, but like at the end of it talking corn nuts. And Tim Walz hands her Doritos. Now again, all the time in the world to shoot this. It's not real. They don't pump their own gas. They don't go to convenience stores. That's not something that they've been a part of for a very long time. Totally detached from reality. And when she gets the Doritos, she grabs the Doritos. She tells you, okay, oh, just what I was looking for. I thought you were looking for corn nuts. Because there's a specific difference between corn nuts and a bag of cheese Doritos. Just for the common person, like that's making minimum wage, and like say it's the weekend, and either they're young or old. Let's say they're on a construction site, making a little bit more. It's hot out. Okay, now they're only getting a half hour for lunch. Forgot their lunch. Don't have much in their pocket. Somebody's running the convenience store. You tell that person to get a bag of corn nuts, and they come back with cheese Doritos. Like, for all you know, that construction worker is going to be like, I can't have red dye 5. I'm allergic to these. I'll break out. Like it's not, just what I was looking for. But that's really, it's a microcosm. It's a metaphor for how we're gaslit, like every single day with every Johnny nonsense talking point. Like none of that was real. None of that was real at all. Do you think they ate Doritos or corn nuts after that? They're not common like you. You're not even human to these people in most regards. These are social climbing sociopaths / psychopaths. Now, a lot of people will argue, that's where I'm going to shift the conversation a little bit, that things are so crazy, things are so out of control, that there is no way that we live in base reality and we've got to be part of some multiverse or simulation theory. It's got to be one or the other, right? I hear about people talking about this timeline. Like, I'm a UFC fan. I watched the post-fight presser with Adesanya, who ended up losing a really good fight, very competitive. Arguably was winning the fight in the 4th round before getting clipped and then submitted. Keeps talking about this timeline. It's becoming mainstreamed. We're in a simulation. AI is basically taking over. We're really living in the Matrix. We're in base reality. Only in base reality could this post-dark truth world be so prevalent and people not rising up. Okay, we have been subdued on a large level. And that kind of takes me to this because, I like to laugh and joke. When we are talking about AI, if you really wanted to get me into this this thing, by the way, let's play that clip because I didn't even call for the clip. We've got that clip, and then we'll get into the AI reality. So I can't believe I just ranted for 10 minutes without the clip. Let's play it. This is Two Walls. Here we go.
I just Dorito. Ah, Dougie, there they are. Yeah, thank you.
I know you want those.
You see corn nuts over there,
Isn't this
Tim?
it?
Oh, yeah, that's
the
it.
big.
There you go.
That's fun. You see corn nuts over there?
Hey, and even the husband's like, corn nuts over there. Now, you saw the first one that would have made more sense, but that didn't involve walls. So again, you're treated like you're a child. They're not eating corn nuts. They're not having Doritos. There's a camera crew there. No one's allowed to be around them. That's who you, at least listen, again, say what you want about Trump. He was up the road during the Iowa run, literally up the road, buying, I think, 60 pizzas with the crowd, taking selfies, talking to people, signing things, being a part. That's first of all, there's not that much love for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, obviously. But it just shows you the difference and how everything is portrayed in that falsified reality. And again, pushing into that simulation theory, etc. Let's bring up, if this was happening, this picture right here, this is AI generated, then you could maybe make that argument to me. First of all, look how buff Trump is right there, huh? Look at that bicep. No belly fat on the guy. He's a bear. He's like sexy with hair if he was Poot Trump. And then Kamala. I mean, she slimmed down a bit. I don't think she's ever seen days as good as this one. But if she has, they were definitely while she was banging both Willie Brown and Montel Jordan. If that was real, like if you brought that to me, if I saw it with my own eyes and I wasn't on the holodeck, maybe you could say that we're in some kind of a simulation. But alas, we are in base reality. And that reality, as we're going to get into in the next hour, is a reality where you have Trump and J.D. Vance on one side. And look, I think Vance has his problems, but again, Vance is in the arena. Like Walls is that guy, staging shots with Kamala Harris in a very controlled environment, okay? Vance is very much more off the cuff. He is ready to talk to reporters. He's ready to do events. He's actually one of the more vocal vice presidential candidates, in my opinion, that I've seen in some time. Now, these are not normal times by any means. But, Vance's relationship with Peter Thiel, for me, is problematic. But here's just something I wasn't expecting to talk about, really, when we closed the show Friday. I mentioned, I believe in my monologue on Friday, that Joe Rogan and Peter Thiel had a 3.5-hour conversation. Now, I've gotten through almost 3 hours of that. I'm on the tail end, so there's like 32 minutes. At about the 2-hour 14 mark, after Joe Rogan and Peter Thiel talk about Epstein, the possibility of connections to intelligence, whether U.S. intelligence or Mossad, Israeli intelligence, etc., is very open form. Okay, it's pretty stark. Now, I've heard Thiel comment on certain topics before, but never going into the quote unquote conspiracy arena and rabbit holes. And that was continuous throughout this conversation. This is a man who, PayPal, Facebook, right now Palantir, Bilderberg steering member. By the way, the vast majority of that, as at least so far in this 3-hour conversation, is never brought up. Like PayPal is alluded to a little bit, but nothing like in that mechanism. They're talking about a Palm Pilot payment system, et cetera, et cetera. It's almost irrelevant. Really, the focus not just on Epstein, but also on JFK, even the origins of humanity, alien life, all that stuff is really on the table. At that 2:14 mark, okay, and this just blew me away, okay, they're talking, and Joe Rogan, who I don't think has ever had Whitney Webb on Rogan, and maybe she's done it and I missed it, but, I talked to Whitney behind the scenes, had her on my program many times, does some of the best work out there, literally references her in front of Peter Thiel in this, like, weird, overly ironic situation is when he says, because they're talking about the deep state and the mechanisms, et cetera. I mean, Bill Gates and all these other things are being brought up. And Joe Rogan says, maybe we need somebody like a Whitney Webb to break it all down for us. Whitney Webb, like myself, has been an avid critic of Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, for instance, who is his partner and also a Bilderberg member at this point, seeing him every year on the agenda. Very much behind AI and warfare, just made headlines. And by headlines, I mean the mainstream media covered it because there are no real headlines of substance anymore. This should be, because Karp, who's very much involved with the modern day military industrial complex, is talking about an inevitable war with the United States and Russia and China on a double front there. That's insane. The fact the media reports that in the background shows you once again, when they're focusing on Doritos, okay? And like, the new term for them, the new talking point is, oh, it's a joyful campaign. They can't even hand themselves the right snacks they're not going to pay for and eat. And they want you to believe that that's going to be the leader of the free world. And that person has done anything. Again, name me that one moment of substance via Kamala Harris in this administration, the most outwardly puppeted administration that we have ever seen. I don't think you can do it. Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and if you enjoyed that segment, I want to let you know that I am live 5 days a week over at TNT.news, and if you go there, you can also interact in the chat. It is 3 to 5 Eastern Time. We are global, baby. So again, if you dug that segment, please come check me out every Monday through Friday at TNT.news.